It's true, it's true. A special one-off livery truly makes you fly. Welcome back to this F1 24 career mode, guys. This is part number 48 today for the British Grand Prix in Season 3. But if you guys did miss the previous one at the Austrian Grand Prix, then definitely go check that one out before you see this one, as we had some drama in the sprint as myself and Lando Norris, my old teammate from the first 2 seasons of this series, came together and it allowed Oscar Piastri to go through for the sprint win. It was a very different story in the full Grand Prix, though, where we were able to manage the pace, manage our tyres, and we became the first repeat winner of 2026 here, Season 3 in this series. You know, we won the first race, and there have been 6 different winners in the 6 first races. But numbers, of course, on round number 7, my race number, we become the first repeat winner. And hopefully, we'll be carrying that momentum into our home Grand Prix, where we do have a special one-off livery. This is a lovely little nod to the white Mercedes livery they ran a couple of years ago back in 2019. I loved that livery at the time. Of course, unfortunately for them in real life, it didn't pan out, and it was actually a very bad omen and bad luck for them in that Grand Prix. I'm hoping to turn the tides on that. As a team, I hope we can turn the tides, because I really love George Russell, as I've said many times, to start scoring points. So maybe this fresh new lick of paint will motivate him to do better. But yeah, so it's a silver arrow, but it's actually white on the front, transitions to the base livery over the top of the chassis just as we get to the halo, and then we've got a bit of white paint bleeding over on the engine cover. And to match, we have got a special helmet. It's my base design that we've been running since the start of the season with the Mercedes sponsor, of course, but now instead of fluoro green, it's all in white to match the white at the front of the car. And we've got a nice little retro style goggles going across the top with the old school Mercedes logo in the middle. So a lovely combo. Yeah, there's something about the white with the solid black sponsors on the front. It's just really nice. It looks really slick and clean, and I'm hoping, yeah, we will be going better than Mercedes did in 2019 with this white half and half livery. There's very little movement in the R&D chart going to this one, apart from one team, which is Toyota in the middle. They haven't really been scoring as well as their performance on this chart indicates. You know, High-Tech GP have scored more points than them, and Audi, you know, those are the 3 new teams we've added to the F1 grid. And Toyota, but you know, compared to where they are on this chart, they have been underperforming, so they're really trying to delve into more upgrades to try and get some more crucial points in the championship. Everyone else plateauing, may be ready for a second blitz of upgrades in the second half of this season maybe. But either way, things may remain quite similar to Austria, but it's a very different circuit, so let's see how things shake up around here. Let's go to qualifying.
Welcome along, everybody, to a venue that was built for speed. Once an airfield, now one of the finest racetracks in the world. It's qualifying day here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix.
Always very exciting to debut a new helmet and a new livery. You know, you can design it all you want outside of the game, but it's cool seeing it for the first time in the game engine on track. It's a little bit overcast around here, unsurprisingly, as it many times is around Silverstone around this time of the year for the British Grand Prix, but hopefully there might be a little bit more sun later in the race weekend to really show off that stark contrast of white on the front to the rest of the base livery, especially from the off-board TV cameras once we get into the race, of course. But here, riding on board the entire time for qualifying, and we're going to catch up to Yuki Tsunoda as we clout the curb, really trying to take as much of the circuit as we can to dance the car around. And as we get to the end of the lap, looking to see how we did, planting the power through the final 2 corners, crossing the line, and it is P1 for now. Russell up there, that's quite promising. We have seen him performing slightly better in qualifying at least, but in the race races, he still needs to convert any sort of one-lap pace into actual race pace. You know, tyre wear maybe affecting him just as much or worse than me. Maybe that's a factor of why Russell's not doing so well. You know, we faced some huge tyre temperature struggles in the last 2 races. Maybe Russell's been feeling that all season long, but now as we get to the end of qualifying, the checkered flag's fallen, so this is it. We're down to P8. We've got Joe Glanyu, Piastri ahead of us. We even had Tsunoda in one of the Toyotas ahead of us. Ricciardo in the other Toyota has split myself and Russell, so people are finding more time. We found more time. Purple middle sector crossing the line. 3 tenths gained. We were down to P12 at the point where we were finishing the lap, and we're going to end it in P5. And it is actually a very similar story at the top end of this field as it was in Austria. It is Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc sharing a front row. But look at Williams. Again, they're up here. P3 and 6. There's no doubting. Williams have some genuine qualifying pace. They just don't have the race pace to match it. We know we'll be able to overtake them. But look at that. Myself and Russell set identical laps. He set his first, so he's ahead of us, which I'll welcome. Good to see George up here. Hopefully, he can score well with me. And again, a great showing from Bottas in Audi to do well over 1 lap. Alonso doing a bit better than he did in Austria, P8. But where has that pace gone that we saw in Spain from Fernando? And still, the Red Bulls are struggling to understand their car. Even though on paper, they're the quickest, something's not translating for the last couple of races. It's going to be a very intriguing race day. Similar stories to maybe Austria, where you've got some slower cars and higher positions and maybe the chance for some surprise results. Let's go to the grid.
Welcome everyone as you join us at a former Second World War aircraft base, now converted into one of the great motor racing tracks. Britain is one of only 2 countries to have held a Grand Prix in every year of the Formula One World Championship, and long may that continue. This is Silverstone, and this is the British Grand Prix. With good opportunities to overtake at the end of the Wellington and Hangar Straights, there's a lot of potential for close action around the 3.6 miles of Silverstone circuit. With 18 corners and average lap speeds of around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the longest and quickest circuits on the calendar. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Ocon, Russell, a Mercedes, Albon, Bottas, Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Oscar Piastri, Sainz, Joe, Verstappen, Ricciardo, Hamilton, Perez, Hülkenberg, Stroll, Behrman, and Logan Sargent. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And alongside me in the commentary box, my old friend, Anthony Davidson. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
As we line up here, I'm a little bit nervous because we are on the soft compound because everyone, barring maybe 1 or 2 drivers, has chosen the soft. So I've gone with what my team of engineers at Mercedes have recommended. It's the same strategy, same tyre as Russell on the soft compound, although I feel like I may be switching onto the hards for the second stint. The original strategy here is going from soft to medium, but with the level of tyre wear and tyre heating issues that we've been facing, I'm kind of already regretting, I can't lie, choosing the softs. I should have just, stuck to my guns and gone mediums and do me, but I've kind of felt the peer pressure of everyone being on softs around me. I feel like maybe we can do something. Maybe this circuit won't be as bad for us with the tyre temps, but I guess we're about to find out. I'm hoping that man on the right as well can score some points today to help us, to help this team reignite our constructors fight with this special livery for the British Grand Prix. As we go to 5 red lights, and we are go, go, go around Silverstone. It's a slow start for the pole man. Lando Norris, Leclerc into the lead. We've had an awful start. We've been pinched in by Valtteri Bottas and the Williams of Albon. We almost had a collision. We had to step out of it, and in doing so, we're down to P7. And for once, Russell is having a decent start. He's going round the outside of Ocon. Meanwhile, his teammate in the other Williams has just overtaken me. There's Russell fighting for third place, but the Ferrari's in the lead then. The McLaren has not had a great start as we try and get the place back on Albon, desperately trying to find the space, and instead actually feeling the pressure from the Toyota of Tsunoda, the much improved Toyota, clearly with those upgrades for them working well, it would seem, as Tsunoda is actually giving us a good fight, and he's actually fully overtaken me. I am being a bit cautious here on the opening lap because I know there's a long way to go, and especially in the home race, I don't want to do anything silly too early on. But at the same time now, in hindsight, looking at the replay cameras here, the speed the Ferrari and the McLaren are showing there, already maybe limited options for how well we could do in this race. I don't know. We're going to have to see how things go. But at the moment, McLaren Ferrari look dangerously quick. Russell, though, looking good, but he has been overtaken by Ocon. So both of us, respectively, have been unable to get our Williams car. So our Williams is going to be a bother for us. But this is a replay then of the start, and it's a pretty straightforward overtake for Leclerc. Just absolutely minced Lando off the 5 red lights, and Ferrari leads, and there is Russell diving down the inside of Village. Nice little side-by-side for him and Esteban Ocon, and Bottas gets a front row seat in the Audi. Again, he's up there, so it's very similar characters at play here around Silverstone compared to the Austrian Grand Prix just gone, but the difference is here, we're actually the second Mercedes in the line. We're the Mercedes struggling a little bit. The pace, I just can't seem to actually fully get this move done on Albon as we go from the left to the right, both of us with DRS, so that's not going to help because we're both equalised in terms of that rear wing drag reduction, as Albon is just placing his car perfectly. Can't make a move on the inside of left field because if I dare to dive it, we're going to make a bit of contact. But now, speak of going down the inside, we can go down the inside of Cops, as it's a very aggressive move. We tried to squeeze out Albon, but he's having none of it. The Williams is so defiant today, and he's going to keep his footing all the way through the middle of Maggots and Beckett. What is going on here? As Lando re-overtakes the Ferrari to get into first place. The crowd will be going wild for that as the British driver leads the British Grand Prix. But the British team of Williams really having a stellar start here. Ocon does get overtaken by Russell, but they're both really taking the fight to us. But as a side note, take a look at the mini-map. That McLaren and Ferrari, they're on a different universe in this race as we go for a ballsy move on the inside of Albon. We're literally drifting our way through the exit of that corner, going opposite lock, kicking the rear out, but probably spooking Albon from turning in a bit more aggressively to keep it going. But oh look, it's our good old friend, the tyre temperatures, absolutely roasting the internals of these tyres, and this just confirms I should have just manned up and gone with the mediums and ignored my team, ignored the peer pressure from everyone, because everyone else is probably not facing the same issues as I am as we make a move on Bottas. So that's actually quite promising. Despite the tyre warming issues, we're getting on with it, you know, and there's still a bit of pace in the car. Russell's ahead of Ocon, so things are actually going in the right direction, to be fair. So maybe if we just ignore the tyre temperatures, you know, it's kind of like if you can't see them, they don't exist. Although at the moment I am looking at them because they are worrying me, because the rear, now both of the tyres, both rear tyres are cooking. It's one thing for one side of the car to be hot on the tyres, but if both rears are hot, it just means the entire rear end is very unstable, just like that. And now we are being hounded by 3 different cars. The Toyota, Audi, Williams, and the Toyota is the one actually looking to make a move. What on earth is going on here? Sonoda has just done us for P5 because we're going to try our best to hang it through on the inside to the outside, but a lock up there doesn't help our case, and Sonoda is on the better racing line for the inside of that next right sequence. So and he pulls away. He's pulled away. 1.2 and just, oh my god. Okay, we need to pit. The state of these tires, the state of the grip going on. Okay, I'm gonna live to regret choosing the softs. I don't know why. Yes, I know. In hindsight, really, should have gone mediums. I don't know why I thought, oh, everyone's on softs. I'll go softs. Just thought it'd be nice to match everyone to make sure we're not done off the line. The irony is we were done off the line anyway. Even on the same compound, we lost 2 places off the start. So, yeah, really didn't do myself any favours there. But one less car to worry about is going to be Alexander Albon, because on lap 8, in the middle of that, he actually retired with an engine failure, by the way. So as we move back to the live action then, it is Lando Norris versus Charles Leclerc. They are 2.5 seconds ahead of our teammate Russell. So to be fair to Russell, he's in P3. If he manages to bag a podium today, I'll be really, really happy with that. But look at this aggressive fight going on. Leclerc forces a move on the outside there. I thought Lando had squeezed him out, but the Ferrari gets his elbows out and forces his way past. And this is turning into an absolutely epic scrap between Lando and Charles here. Ferrari v McLaren in a world of their own. So it's literally just a 1v1 here. In the background, you can see Russell, but you can clearly tell that these guys still have a lot of pace to be making moves on each other, and they're still actually kind of low-key pulling away from Russell. The gap is now 2.5 to 2.6, so the gap is slowly going up, even though they're going side by side, which usually you'd lose time fighting each other. But no, they're actually pulling away slightly from Russell. It's coming back a tiny bit, but not as much as you'd think. And meanwhile, in the top 10 then, Alonso, Verstappen creeping in. Oh, Ollie Behrman's had a spin. Oh dear. After such an amazing Austrian Grand Prix weekend for Ollie Behrman, scoring a P5, he has made a mistake here, showing he is still very much a rookie in his debut season there. Still a bit of consistency to learn, but that comes with experience, as we see a very experienced man in the Ferrari car making a pass for P1, but the McLaren will keep on him. This has been going on for the entire race, but it's just heating up more and more because they keep swapping now. There were a couple of laps in the opening stages where actually Leclerc was staying ahead or Lando was staying ahead, but now these guys are swapping every single lap. And on lap 12, it's going to be the McLaren's turn as Lando fakes to the left, goes to the right in a really nice little dummy move and gets to the inside of the Ferrari. The two will be side by side still. Oh, what the... What have they done? The 2 race leaders have come together and they've driven each other onto the grass, and they're both potentially out. Leclerc trying to get into the pit lane, the McLaren trying to get back onto the racing line. What on earth were they doing? Leclerc and Norris, they have taken themselves out of the running in a very peculiar manner. They just both simply drove onto the grass, made contact together in a pincer movement on that little bollard. Meanwhile, back in our world, on our POV, as we cross the line for lap 13, we're getting our head down on these new hard tyres, and we are going to come out ahead of Ocon. We have undercut Ocon with 4 laps on the hard compound, and we're only 1.9 seconds behind our own teammate. So that's a successful undercut from us, but it's been overshadowed by whatever mess this was. What on earth is going on there? I think Leclerc... I'm trying to dissect it. I think Leclerc was trying to come into the pits, and that's why he's continued to drive into the pit lane entry. But Lando was never coming in. He was staying out for another lap. But because he was the car on the right, they both just pincered each other into that bollard and had a very spectacular crash going across the grass, breaking one of the foam boards. And because of that, it's meant all of a sudden, here on lap 14, Look at this. It's all coming up Mercedes with our one-off white livery. It's a 1-2 for the half and half Mercedes cars. Russell leads the British Grand Prix. We're up into second. And the two race leaders, or previous race leaders, they're down in 17th and 12th right now. They were so far ahead of everyone, and now they're both out the points as we see a real amazing scrap going on side by side through the final corners. Ocon versus Tsunoda. The Toyota trying to get into a podium spot, that is, and that gave us a bit of breathing room for a while, but now they've kind of got into formation and both of them in tandem have caught up to us. So I was hoping they continued fighting because they were giving us a bit of room to breathe, because my pace isn't that great. It was great initially, but now, because I went so much earlier onto these hards, I just think the tyre wear, there's no overheating on the tyre compound, like internally. I just think the tyre wear itself, because it's so much more than these guys on mediums, it doesn't matter that I'm facing no tyre temps issues. I am now struggling. I am really having to fight tooth and nail just to keep ahead of Ocon, and we have formed a gargantuan train, and we lock up, we go deep, and Ocon switchbacked me. He's absolutely done me, and the Williams is into second place. And look at that train. I'm training down to like P11. That's how slow I am. I'll fully admit I've got no pace now on these hards. It was great initially, but yeah, the tyre wear's caught up with me, and Tsunoda now has overtaken me. I tried my best to try and stop him, but look at the rear end. He's just stepping out everywhere now. And the Toyota is into third. How amazing for them, though. But it's annoying for me because we were on for a 1-2. I mean, I'm still so happy Russell is leading, and I hope he can go on for the win. But where can we come in our home race with this special livery? I really want to do well, but we're now off the podium, and we're being absolutely hounded now by Alonso, by Sainz in the Aston Martin Honda, and Ferrari respectively. What the? We have just mounted the curb. I don't even know what happened there as we got launched onto the grass. We're now down to P8. Bottas has overtaken us. We've lost, 4 positions? We re-overtake the Audi to get back into P7, but we're now all of a sudden behind Max Verstappen, who's looking at a pretty good recovery here, but wow. Oh my days. It didn't look that dramatic on board. From my onboard, oh my God. The POV, oh my. The POV from Alonso and Sainz is absolutely hilarious. Oh my days. I've seen my fair share of bump jump glitches on F124 from randomers online, but I have never had my own random bump glitch on F124. Oh my days, look at that. Look how much we launched into the air. It did not feel that dramatic on board, I must say, but from the off-board, bloody, we were literally flying. We literally cleared Alonso's height of his Aston Martin. And so it's a very entertaining and chaotic end for the race to me. It's all calm, though, in George Russell's world. It's going to be back-to-back wins for Mercedes, but Russell finally scores some good points and gets off the mark and gets his first win of the season. Ocon, second in the Williams. Tsunoda gets Toyota a third place. Incredible stuff. And we limp home for 7th place. I mean, the one-off livery, it wasn't so lucky for me, but it actually was for George Russell as we, oh my God, we almost lost a position there because of my rear end. Bloody hell. Yeah, the one-off livery, the white Mercedes, not so great for me. Very good for George Russell, though, today, so I'll take it. And it was quite comical at the end, but frustrating as well.
We've seen a brilliant display of the Russell hustle. It's George Russell who wins.
A great team victory today, Crofty. That's the important bit here. On home soil, the drivers delivered, the team delivered as well, and to do that in front of their home support, really means a lot to them.
That ending actually made me forget that Lando and Charles took themselves out of the running. They were 1-2 and they both scored 0 points. So I actually ended up gaining points on Alonso in second. Leclerc down to third in the championship now. Russell up to 9th place. And with the 2 back-to-back wins, we have all of a sudden found ourselves in first place in the Constructors. I actually don't, like, it only felt like 2 episodes ago we were 5th. Like, I don't actually know how we've done this, but it's quite amazing, actually. I really feel like we've not been performing enough to be first place in the Constructors, but with, you know, McLarens and Ferraris taking themselves out, then clearly there is opportunity there. Guys, if you have enjoyed this episode, then be sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And if you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.